Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Minnesota Mike back with you for another video. This is another one in my vlog series that I do through the Memphis Songwriters Association in conjunction with the blog that I write for them, talking all about songwriting and what has worked for various artists over the course of a handful of years, whether those songs have been hits or not. So, this latest kick that I'm on is talking about what I call productive co writing. And what that is when a producer comes into a session and they have such an effect on the song, in addition to their normal jobs of just making it come to life, that they end up as a co writer on the track. Now, these can be either lyrical contributions or melodic contributions, and most of what I'm talking about is going to be melodic, but they also for sure helped with, the melodic contributions as well. So we looked at first You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette with production and co-writing by Glenn Ballard. Glenn ended up producing the whole album and getting co-writing credit on all of them, all of the songs, because he was so influential there. We also looked at Never Again by Kelly Clarkson, and co-writing credit went to the producer Jimmy Messer on that particular song. We also looked at Someone Like You by Adele, and Dan Wilson got co-writing credit there for his work, and he also produced the song. And now we are going to look at one of my favorite, more recent songs, Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. In early 2021, I had heard about this song. I normally rely on my students to tell me about new songs they like, but this one I discovered on my own. The next Monday, I opened every single one of my classes by telling my students how ashamed I was that they didn't have the courtesy to tip me off to this gem because it is phenomenal. Now let's go back to 2021, maybe 2020 as well, because the song was written in 2020 by a 17-year-old Olivia Rodrigo, who was a Disney actress at the time. You probably remember feeling pretty isolated in 2020, and even though she was famous, she was no exception. As one of my former students gleefully accounted, Olivia had just gone through a breakup, and not just a breakup, but her boyfriend and co star at the time cheated on her with another girl. What is one to do but write an angsty breakup song about it? Lyrically, this particular song deals with the life changing event of getting one's driver's license. A driver's license is a rite of passage for a teen. Sure, they may still need to get permission to take their parents' car out, but, they still have the freedom to go pretty much anywhere once they get that permission. While unlike me, it probably didn't take Olivia 10 tries to pass her exam, there's an important weight that's placed on the passing of her test between her and her boyfriend. The opening line is, I got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about, because you were so excited for me to finally drive up to your house. There are many songs that talk about the plans you once made with your ex and how those plans have now been broken, but this song sounds fresh. She continues to talk about what life is like now that this momentous occasion of being able to drive on her own has finally arrived. But he's no longer in her life. Today I drove through the suburbs crying because you weren't around. Today I drove through the suburbs and pretended I was driving home to you. The juxtaposition of independence against the emotions she's feeling about the end of this relationship, feeling trapped in a hell loop of sorts, is just incredibly powerful. Now let's talk about her producer's role in this particular song's creation. Daniel Nigro discovered Olivia on TikTok in 2020, and at the time those videos could only be 60 seconds in length, but Daniel was sold by the short bursts he saw from her account. The role of a producer is to get the feel of the song from the writer and help achieve that feel melodically, lyrically, and structurally, hence the three categories in my blog and vlog, although I am no producer. And Daniel did just that with Driver's License, along with all the other tracks on the album. There are only 4 tracks on the album with co writers other than Negro and Rodrigo, and 3 of those are due to interpolating other songs. But to me, Driver's License is the most emotionally raw of the 6 co written solely by the producer and the singer. Of course, most of that has to do with the angsty teenager behind the microphone, but Daniel did a fabulous job fleshing out the song and turning it into what it would become on the record. So now we'll talk melodically. This song was written in the key of B flat. The intro sounds like a key fob unlocking a car to go somewhere, and the verses use B flat, G minor, E flat, and B. The chords played in the first two lines of the chorus, and I know we weren't perfect, but I've never felt this way for no one, and I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. Have an upward melodic climb over the E flat, where the melody steps up by starting on that note as the chorus uses E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, followed by G minor, F, B flat, D minor 7, and E flat. And that second half is starting with the Guess You Didn't Mean What You Wrote in That Song About Me, which is followed by E flat 6, F, and B flat, starting with Cause You Said Forever, Now I Drive Alone Past Your Street. The bridge uses G minor, E flat, B flat, F, G minor, E flat, B flat, and F, which gets repeated twice. We'll talk about the bridge a little bit more later because, my goodness. Structurally, the song follows a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus format, with the last chorus repeating the last line of the chorus. Because you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. Let's talk about that bridge, because my God, the bridge. First of all, a well-functioning musical bridge is supposed to take the song to a different place. The two verses are pretty standard melodically, and the chorus, although heartbreaking, feels pretty much the same. But the bridge is booming, recounting old memories about places they used to go in the car, the sidewalks they used to walk on before they were able to drive, and the admission that I still fucking love you, babe. Pop music has a bad habit of being formulaic, both in and coming out of the bridge, oftentimes going to that a cappella chorus that I have mentioned earlier in earlier blogs and in earlier vlogs. To me, this practice kills the momentum that you had going with the bridge and defeats the purpose of even having one. By comparison to the bridge, the last chorus of this song feels subdued, although it's not a cappella. But instead, of course, this particular bridge gets out all the emotions she felt, the anger, the sadness, the confusion, and maybe a little bit of desperation, followed by a mellower chorus that seems to be accepting of the relationship's fate. There's little doubt in my mind that the decision was made by Mr. Nigro while deciding what the song needed to pack the biggest punch for the listener. And that is what a good producer and a good co-writer do together when they work together. So driver's license is embedded below. It's linked below. You can listen below. Like I promised in the last video, I was going to get way overly excited about this, but this song is just absolutely phenomenal. I often point to 2013 as the year that pop music died. And I single-handedly, or just solely believe that single-handedly, Olivia Rodrigo is going to save pop music, along with other producers like Dan Wilson as well. But as like an artist, just the artist alone, she's going to be the one to single-handedly save pop music because it is phenomenal. It's raw. It means something, but it's also insanely catchy. And driver's license is where it all began. So it is linked below. You can find that there. In closing, I do want to offer a word of advice to you, whether you were a songwriter in need of a producer or a producer in need of a songwriter to produce. I have a tremendous amount of respect for all four of these producers and would scream joyfully if I ever got to work with any of them. However, that might not always be a viable option. My suggestion to you, especially if you write deeply personal songs like the ones discussed in this blog, is to find a producer who really understands you as both a person and a writer. Sometimes this is lightning in a bottle, like Glenn Ballard and Alanis Morissette, and sometimes you can find the right producer through social media, like Olivia Rodrigo did. Sometimes you rely on the human connection that Dan Wilson provides. But whatever you do, make sure that they know and agree with where you want to take the music. If you are a producer looking for a songwriter, believe in what you do. The sounds that you're able to create with a singer are what makes you unique as a producer. The ear that you will lend to the songwriter will be absolutely invaluable for the song, and more importantly, your personal relationships. If you're going to bring something valuable to the table to the tune of getting a co writing credit, the suggestions you provide must be aligned with the emotion that the songwriter is trying to convey. And if you can do that, you'll have a partner for life. And I promise you, the things that you're doing as a producer are the same things the producers listed above are doing as well. It's just a matter of exposure. So keep up the good work, but I hope that this re energized you a little bit and maybe made you feel a little bit better about pop music as well. I am Minnesota Mike. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out all my other vlogs as well as the blogs on the Memphis Songwriters Association website. Thank you so much.